being honest, a lot of these women who have the whole independent woman, I don't need no man complex, really hate it there. Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trinity. If you're new here, today we're going to be talking about all things feminine energy, how to feel more feminine, how to look more feminine, how to be more in touch with your feminine side. If you're interested in hearing all about it, just keep on watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. It's so funny when I make some of these videos, I just be thinking like, y'all really get me, because some of these topics, I wouldn't even tell other people that I Google stuff like this. Like, I really used to Google how to feel more feminine, how to feel more womanly, how to live in your feminine energy. I really used to Google stuff like that, and I was actually embarrassed about it until I got on YouTube and realized that a lot of y'all go through the same thing. So I'm going to give you the tips that I follow, and a lot of these things may be subjective. Like, different things may make different women feel more feminine or feel more womanly, but I'm going to share with you the things that I feel like helped and help me to feel more feminine. These are things that I intentionally do every day, and they have definitely helped me over the years. I think I started being more interested in like going from girl to woman maybe around like 2020 when the pandemic happened. I share this story a lot, but I went through a breakup at that time, and I was really just trying to find myself and to just like become more confident. I wanted to be content being by myself. I didn't want to be relying on someone else for my happiness. So there were a lot of things that I did that I feel like shifted my persona around that time. There were a lot of mindset shifts that occurred, just a lot of shifts in general. And one thing I always noticed in other women that I never really saw in myself was a very soft feminine side. I used to always see it in so many different women, and I could never really put my finger on exactly what made them more feminine than me. And one day I took a piece of paper and I wrote out all the women who I feel like gave me that type of vibe and what I liked about them. And from doing that, I realized that a lot of these women had a lot of things in common. They had a certain grace about them. They had a certain aura that they gave off. For some of them, it was the way that they dressed. For some, it was the way that they spoke, the way they interacted with other people, their confidence, their demeanor. So we're going to deep dive into a lot of these things so that you can have a better understanding of what you can do in order to feel more womanly, more feminine, and just overall more of a soft woman. So like I said, my journey kind of started when the pandemic began around 2020, but a lot of these things are things that I have learned since then over the years. Some of these things are things that I just started doing maybe 6 months ago, because it's definitely a journey, especially when you're like me and your masculine traits tend to take over way more than your feminine ones. Like, that's where I was for majority of my life. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a teenager. For those of you who don't know, I'm a lash tech and a makeup artist. Well, no longer makeup artist. I just do lashes now. But I've been doing lash extensions full time for about 7 years now, almost 7 years. And even before I was doing that full time, I was doing hair when I was in high school. I was doing makeup and hair in college. I was a hairstylist assistant throughout college. So I've been getting to it for a real long time. And while being an entrepreneur has its perks, it can also harden you and make it very hard for you to be feminine and soft and just be. Hustle culture was a really big thing for me for a really long time. Like, I felt like if I had free time, I should be taking clients, I should be at work, I should just be doing something productive. I have to be doing something all the time. I have to be going. It's all about making money. It's all about getting more clients. I never prioritized rest. Like, one day, I think this was during my senior year in college, I had to be rushed to the hospital because I was exhausted. Because I was literally going to class, leaving class to go do clients. And at this time, I was traveling to clients. So I was traveling near and far to do people's lashes. I would be carrying my massage bed folded up hills, upstairs to go to people's apartments, leaving there, going to the next client. Sometimes I had to work in the hair salon. Like, I was doing a whole lot, and I was not even eating at that time. Like, I probably would eat one meal a day. So I was just like constantly overworking myself, and I got to a point where I felt like I have to prioritize rest. There's no way that I can be a soft feminine woman and not prioritize rest. Like, everything was about working hard. And around the time where I decided that I was going to prioritize rest, I realized that it was important for me to figure out how to work smarter and not always harder. Whenever I would be trying to come up with new business ideas or ways to make more money or ways to get more clients, I was always working harder to get those things. And I realized you don't always have to work harder to make more money or to get more clients or to do whatever. Sometimes you just have to figure out a smarter way to get the things that you want. I realized that I didn't have to be working 7 days a week. I didn't have to be available 7 days a week for me to get clients, for me to make a certain amount of money, because people will adjust. Just like people adjust when a hairstylist goes out of town, or a lash tech or a nail tech. You do not have to be available 7 days a week in order for you to be successful. I now work 4 days a week, and I'm making more money than I was at the time where I was working every single day of the week from sun up to sundown. It's all about working smarter. And once I started prioritizing rest, I was able to feel softer because I wasn't a part of the hustle culture anymore. I didn't feel like I always had to be busy. Sometimes the easiest way for you to be more in touch with your feminine side and to just feel like a softer being, all you have to do is slow down. We move so fast as women. We always take on all these tasks, all these responsibilities. We feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. And a lot of the time, all we have to do is just sit back and relax for a second. And I know somebody's probably watching this thinking, well, I have kids, I have a business, I have a husband I need to tend to, I have a job, I'm in school. Yes, I understand that, but just as much as all those things are important, you are also important. I hate waking up early, but sometimes I gotta wake up before my son if I want to be able to just have an easygoing morning. If I don't want to be running back and forth from room to room, getting him dressed, getting myself dressed, sometimes I gotta get up before him because I feel more at ease when I do that. I feel more at ease when I'm not rushing. I feel more at ease when I'm living a slower life. And that's one thing that I'm actually still working on, the whole slow down thing, because I rush to do a lot of things. I'm rushing in the morning sometimes when I'm getting ready. I'm rushing in the gym because I don't have as long as I thought I would have. I'm rushing to eat lunch in between clients. I'm rushing to get home and cook dinner. So sometimes I really have to tell myself, like, girl, make a priority list. What are the top 3 things that you need to accomplish today? Pick 3 things and take your time with them. You don't have to accomplish 1,000 things in one day. You don't have to accomplish 1,000 things in 1 week. You can move slow sometimes. You don't always have to rush yourself with everything that you do. Another thing I started doing was asking for help, because I realized that I never used to let people do anything for me, especially men. Like, I had this thing where I did not want a man to be able to come back later and say, oh, I did XYZ for you. I didn't want anybody to be able to hold anything over my head. And I also didn't want anyone to ever feel like I needed them. I always had this feeling like I need to be able to hold my own. And while that is true, you don't always have to operate like that. I think everyone in my life knows that I can hold my own. That doesn't mean that I want to hold my own all the time. Like, I don't want to do everything for myself, because let's be honest, what is the point of having all these people in your life if you have to do everything yourself? If you don't have anyone to lean on, if you don't have anyone that you can depend on, why do you have all these people around you? I used to be in relationships and the man would ask me if he could do certain things for me, and I would just be like, no, it's okay. He's literally offering. Why don't you just take the help? Whether it's financial, physical, whatever. Now, these days, I'm taking all the help that I can get. Because like I said before, you shouldn't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders if you don't have to. If someone's trying to help you in any kind of way, let them. And if they want to hold it over your head later on, then that's on them. That says more about them than it does about you. Like, I wore the whole independent woman thing like it was a badge of honor. And yes, it's nice to be an independent woman. Like I said, it's nice to be able to hold your own. But if we're being honest, a lot of these women who have the whole independent woman, I don't need no man complex, really hate it there. I know I did. I didn't want to go half with the man on everything. I didn't want to be a strong black woman. I didn't want to be resilient. I just felt like I had to be in order to be respected. But one thing I learned while on this journey to feeling more feminine and just being softer is that men like to feel needed. Men like for you to ask them to do certain things for you. It does something for their ego. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be the type of girl who would not stroke a man's ego just because I knew that that's what they wanted. And that is why I always felt like another masculine being in a relationship. I do believe in gender roles to a certain extent. Like, I feel like men and women have different roles in a relationship that benefit each other. Like I said, men like to feel needed. They like to have their ego stroked. And if you want your man to show up the way you want him to show up in a relationship, you kind of got to stroke his ego sometimes. And that's not a bad thing. I don't know what made me feel like that was a bad thing, but it's not. Whatever my man needs to make him feel like the man, I'm gonna give him that. And I know a lot of people probably not gonna agree with that, but I'm gonna give it to him, because if he does things that makes me feel like I'm that girl, why can't I do that for him? But I think the key is you gotta be dealing with a man who deserves that. Like, I was dealing with men who didn't deserve that. Like, when I think back on the times where I would cringe at the thought of making a man feel more manly, it's because I was dealing with men who did not deserve it. My boyfriend has never let me touch a door. There are times when he'll come over my house and he'll know that I went grocery shopping earlier that day, and he'll say, leave anything heavy in the car and I'll get it when I come there. Fine by me, okay? Because I used to be the girl who would just make 5 trips back to the car to bring all the groceries in. I'm not doing it no more. I don't have to. Open your mouth and ask. Like, if you want help with anything, ask. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're dealing with a man who loves you, he doesn't want to see you struggling in any type of way. And I'm not just talking about financially. Like I said, it doesn't have to be financial, but I feel like a man should make a woman's life easier in some type of way. Like, if you were just really stressed out all the time, you have a lot going on, really just like emotionally drained, physically drained, mentally drained. If you're dating a man, he has to lighten that load in some kind of way. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. Because what is the point of you being here and I'm still having the same exact issues I was having before you came in? Now, we're not talking about like trauma and stuff that people need to deal with on their own, but take from this what you will. If I got a man by my side, I'm not going to be struggling the same way I was before he came in. And it's not about being needy or anything like that. It's just about relationships being transactional. Like I said, there are certain things that women should do for men and men should do for women. You should both be reaping the benefits of being in a relationship in some type of way. And from my experience, when you have a man and a woman in a relationship, it doesn't really work for both of them to be masculine. Now, of course, as women, we do have masculine traits, we do have feminine traits, and the same goes for men, if we're being honest. But there has to be a healthy balance in the relationship and individually. So allow that man to help you in whatever way you need him to help you. The next thing is having a maintenance routine. If you're not new here, you know I talk about this all the time, but it works, I'm telling you. I used to be the type of girl who only got her nails done for occasions. My hair was usually done for the most part because, like I said, I did hair when I was in high school and college. So that one was pretty much always taken care of. But like, I didn't really get pedicures often. I would do my own toes a lot of the time and it did not look great. Polish would be chipped on either my hands or my nails. This was pre-lash extension, so no lashes. I didn't have no real skincare routine and my skin was kind of out of control for like a really long time. I didn't have no type of maintenance routine at all. I would just get stuff done occasionally whenever I had somewhere to go. I wasn't the type of girl who was always ready. Because y'all know now I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. But when I started the journey to feeling more womanly, I started prioritizing my looks. Not only because I wanted to look good, but because it made me feel good. Like, there's something about pouring into yourself that automatically makes you feel more feminine and more soft. And it's also a great way to boost your confidence. And like I said, being confident in yourself plays a big role in femininity. So I started making sure my hair was always done. I was getting my nails done on a consistent basis every 2 to 3 weeks. Now I'm making sure my toes are done all throughout the year, not just in the summertime and the springtime when I'm gonna have my feet out in some sandals. But yeah, I am very dedicated to my maintenance routine because, like I said, it just makes me feel good. I love pouring into myself. I love taking care of myself. I have a shower routine. I do not play by my shower routine. And if y'all not new here, y'all know I spend a lot of time in the shower. I be in there like 15 to 20 minutes on some days because that's my me time. That's how I take care of my body. I romanticize my after shower routine where I'm putting on all my body care products, my perfume. It just makes me feel like a woman. And since I mentioned having a shower routine, hygiene and body care are crucial to femininity. Like, you can't really say that you're a womanly woman if you don't take care of your hygiene. Like, there are things that we have to do that men don't have to do. As a woman, you should not be walking around funky in no type of way because you should be on top of your stuff all the time. Like, have a spare deodorant in your car just in case you forget to put deodorant on. Carry around travel size perfume just in case you need to reapply throughout the day. Make sure you got some lotion in your purse. Make sure you got some hand cream, cuticle oil. All that stuff will just make you feel more womanly and it'll also make you look good, like I said before. And I used to be the type of girl who felt like doing all that stuff was for everybody else. Like, oh, I'm putting on perfume for other people. I'm putting on makeup for other people. I'm putting on a cute outfit for other people. And then I got to a point where I realized, no, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel good about myself. I'm taking time out of my day to really put lotion on my whole entire body. I think it was Monet McMichael the other day. She posted a reel on Instagram. I think it was an ad for some type of lotion. She was talking about how putting lotion on as a kid used to be a chore, like really putting it on your whole body. I used to put lotion on my elbows and my knees, my ankles, my hands, call it a day. No. Now I'm putting lotion on every inch of my body, maybe 3 times, because I have an unscented body lotion. I have body oil. I have scented body lotion. Then I'm going in with my perfume. Like, it's a whole process, okay? But I feel like that is one of the differences between being a girl and being a woman, because you take that extra time, you go the extra mile to make sure you look good and feel good and smell good. When I say I romanticize my shower routine and my body care routine, I romanticize it. Like, I take my time. I use products that make me feel good about what I'm doing. I use products that smell good so that I'm more excited about doing my routine every day. That's how you romanticize stuff in your life. And that brings me to the next point. Use and buy small things that help you to romanticize your life. I like to buy little small things that can get used on a daily basis, like things that I can use in routines that I already have, just so that I can feel better about those routines and those tasks that I have to do all the time. And I love when I meet girls who like thrive off of stuff like that too. I'm not saying go to Target and buy all the cute little things that you see, but if there's something that you can buy that will make you feel better about things that you might not be that happy about on a regular basis or that excited about on a regular basis, buy those things. I didn't need this $30 cup from Target. This is the simple modern one. I was not paying for a Stanley cup. I low-key still want a Stanley cup, but a lot of people say this one is better, so whatever, I got this one. This has me drinking so much water on a daily basis. Like, it just makes it more fun. Having a cute cup makes drinking water so much more enjoyable for me. And it's practical, because one problem that I always had with big water jugs like this was that they never fit in my cup holder in my car. This one fits perfectly in my cup holder. It has a handle so I can carry it around. My boyfriend got me this cute set of pots and pans for Christmas, and I feel like that makes me more excited to cook every day. Another way to feel more feminine is to wear underclothes that you're proud of, even if no one else is seeing them. I used to have a whole bunch of granny panties and just like bras and panties that didn't match. And then one day I was like, you know what? I want them all to match. So I just bought like tones. At first I was only buying black, so black panties and black bras. But then I started adding neutrals. I got rid of all the prints so that I always had a matching set. And that just makes me feel good to know that I have on a cute pair of undies, a cute bra under my clothes, even though no one else is seeing it, because everything isn't for everybody else. I can't really describe the feeling that you get from doing stuff like that, but try it and I promise you, you will feel a lot more feminine than you do now. This next one is super duper crucial. You have to learn how to let go of control. Be less micromanaging. Allow yourself to be led. This was a really hard one for me, because like I said, I had this whole independent woman complex. I don't need no man. That was my vibe. While it was nice for me to have a man in my life, I never wanted to need a man. I never allowed myself to need a man. I felt the need to control a lot of situations in my life. I needed to know the outcome of everything. I didn't trust anyone to lead me in any type of way. I hated group projects in school because I didn't like letting anybody else be in control of anything. I felt like I was the only one who knew how to get us or myself from point A to point B in the way that I wanted to get there. And that was me living in my masculine energy. I had to learn how to let go of control. And this is another one that really only works if you're dealing with a man who you can trust to lead you. It only works if you're dealing with a man who you can let your guard down with. It only works if you're dealing with a man who does not require you to micromanage everything that he does. I realized that as a very naturally independent woman and a woman who can do a lot for herself, and as a woman who has never really trusted anyone to make decisions for her or for the relationship, I have to be with a man who knows how to make decisions on his own. I have to be with someone who I can trust to make decisions, someone who I can trust to lead us, someone who doesn't just go with the flow, someone who considers me in his decision making and doesn't just do things as if it only affects him. And that is probably one of the main things that I feel like has allowed me to rest in my femininity over the last maybe year or two. If I can't trust you to make no decisions, or if I feel like I have to be the one steering the ship, I don't really want to be on a ship with you. I've steered ships long enough just for men to make me want to just jump off and leave them on there by themselves. But like I said, if you have a man who fulfills all those things, you have to learn how to let go of control. There's no way for you to rest in your femininity if you're always trying to control everything. And that doesn't mean that you can't help make decisions. That doesn't mean that you can't give your input. Like, I don't believe in just being a woman who just sits back and shuts up and doesn't say anything. That's never going to be me. I don't care how that comes across. I'm never going to be the one to just sit back and not say anything. But I have learned that I don't always have to be talking all the time. And that was another one that was really hard for me. I don't have to give my 2 cents on everything, especially if it doesn't directly concern me in that moment. And I've also learned how to give my input without telling someone what to do or being the one leading and steering the ship all the time. Basically, I learned how to be a team player. Because like I told y'all, I hated group projects in high school. I either wanted to just work by myself or I wanted to be in control of the group. I used to lie on job applications all the time. I used to lie in job interviews all the time, telling them that I knew how to be a team player, that I worked well in groups. I did not work well in groups. I was not a team player because I felt like I had all the answers. But then I got to a point where I realized if I'm around people, not even just like men in relationships, but if I'm around people who require me to make all the decisions, that's a reflection of me. Why am I surrounding myself with people who I don't trust to make good decisions? Why am I in relationships with men who I don't trust to make good decisions? Another thing that helped me to really rest in my femininity was embracing my vulnerability. As women, we are naturally just vulnerable. We're naturally nurturing, we're naturally caring, we're naturally compassionate, we're naturally just lovers. If you are not those things, there are probably things that have happened to you that have made you a little hard. Things have probably happened to you that have caused you to have a guard up. Something probably happened that caused you to feel like you can't trust a man or you can't really put your all into a relationship. It happens to the best of us, trust me. But if you truly want to be a feminine being and if you really want to live in your feminine energy, you have to embrace your vulnerability. It's actually one of your strengths, whether you want to believe it or not. My ability to be vulnerable and caring and compassionate is my strength as a woman. I don't have to see that as a weakness anymore. At one point, I felt like I had to have a guard up in order to protect myself from certain heartbreak or just certain traumatic experiences that have happened to me in my past. But then I realized that if I keep recycling the same experiences over and over and over and over again, it's because I'm constantly dealing with the same type of man. If I keep recycling my negative traumatic experiences, it's because there's something that I'm not learning. There's a lesson that I am not learning from all of these experiences. Every time you get in a new relationship or every time one relationship ends, you should be going into the next one with tweaked preferences or tweaked standards. Something should change. You shouldn't want the same exact thing that you wanted when you went into the last relationship. So if you're walking into a better situation, you shouldn't be more guarded. You should actually be more vulnerable because now you're dealing with someone who checks off more of the boxes that you have on your list. So embrace your vulnerability. Don't look at it as a weakness. Go into your situations being exactly who you are meant to be. You're meant to be a nurturing, caring, loving being. You're not meant to be hard. You're not meant to have a guard up. You're not meant to have a wall up. You're not meant to not trust whoever you're with. And I know a lot of the time we're scared to go into situations being our vulnerable selves because we're scared to get hurt. But if you don't allow yourself to go all in, you will never know the full potential of that situation. And you don't want to be the reason why it doesn't work. If the other person doesn't do what they're supposed to do, if they don't play that role the way they're supposed to, then that's on them. You can say you did everything that you could, but just know that it is a strength to be vulnerable and to allow yourself to really love to your full capacity. And that doesn't mean be dumb. Don't be dumb. Like I said, learn the lessons from your previous experiences, but don't go into anything expecting to get exactly what you want with a guard all the way up. It's never going to work. And there's no way for you to feel as feminine as you want to feel with a guard up. Fighting the world, fighting everybody, feeling like everybody is against you. And lastly, if you really want to be more feminine and just feel more womanly, stop chasing and start attracting. You should not be jumping through hoops to get anybody's attention. I remember my therapist telling me a few years ago, you don't have to do cartwheels for somebody to notice you. Just be you, be there, be in the room, and that's all you need to do. Your presence should say enough for itself. You don't have to do a whole lot, especially to get a man. If you've seen any of my recent videos and you already know my take on women approaching men, me personally, I'm not doing it because I feel like my therapist said, all I gotta do is show up and you either coming over here or you're not. I personally don't ever want to be in a situation where I want a man more than he wants me. Like, it's a man's job to go after what he wants. I believe in some gender roles, I'm sorry. And a man is gonna have to come and get me. I believe that I attract what I want. The type of man that I want, I attract him. I don't have to go chasing him. I daggone sure don't want no man that I gotta chase at all. Learn to have magnetic energy as a woman. Believe that the things you want, not even just relationships, but the things that you want in life, believe that they come to you. Yes, you do have to put in some work sometimes, but for the most part, we are magnetic beings. Like, one thing that I learned in business that I feel like applies to a lot of things in life is that you have to know your target audience. You are not for everyone. You are not for everything. Everything is not supposed to be in your life. Everyone is not supposed to be in your life. So you have to know what you want, know exactly what you're trying to attract so that you can do the necessary things to attract those things and those people. Because the things that are really meant for you, you don't have to go chasing. They'll come to you. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to talk about this for a really long time. And there were actually a few things that I left out. I just didn't want this video to be like 2 hours long. So let me know if y'all want a part 2. If you have any tips that you would like to share with us, feel free to leave that down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.